Now, in the fourth stanza, the poet, enthralled by the swiftness and strength of the west wind, wishes to be lifted and borne aloft. He wishes to enjoy the experience of a dead leaf, a cloud, and a wave. He says, if I were a dead leaf, thou mightest bear; if I were a swift cloud, to fly with thee, a wave to pant beneath thy power. And he says that he wants to experience and enjoy the dead leaf or the cloud or the waves experiences. And he says, the impulse of thy strength only less free than thou, O uncontrollable, if even I were as in my boyhood, and could be the comrade of thy wanderings over heaven. He says, or he longs to be affected by the sway of the west wind. He feels that he is inferior to the west wind in freedom. He says, and he regrets the passing away of his boyhood. He says, if he were in his boyhood day, he could have run a race with the west wind, but now he is not in a position to take up the challenge. And he says he even thinks it to be impossible. As thus with thee in prayer in my sore need, O lift me as a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed. He says that he is suffering from miseries and he feels tied up by various chains and bondages. So he pleads to the west wind in grievous distress to pick him up, just like he picks up the leaf and the cloud and the wave, because he is suffering intensely from the misfortunes. A heavy weight of ours has chained and bowed one too like thee, tameless and swift and proud. The poet says that with the length of time combined with oppression and trouble, he says he was also born like the west wind, wild, swift, and proud. But now he feels himself as if he is chained with the burdens and the troubles. In the fifth stanza, the poet is passionately invoking the west wind to make him its instrument to sound fresh notes of ideas. He says, make me thy lyre even as the forest is. What if my leaves are falling like its own? The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will take from both a deep autumnal tone. He says that he is just like the leaves which have fallen from the trees. Similarly, his ideas, his thoughts, which people are not paying heed to. So he wishes that the west wind should help him in carrying away his thoughts. He only wishes that people listen to what he wants to say. And this is possible only with the help of the west wind. He says, Be thou spirit fierce, my spirit, be thou me impetuous one. The poet asks for a union of his own self with the west wind. Drive my dead thoughts over the universe like withered leaves to quicken a new birth. He compares his thoughts to the dead leaves which, by burying and fertilizing the seeds, help the outburst of a new life in spring. He says that by the magic and charm of his verse, the poet's mind is now compared to a fireplace in which the fire of enthusiasm is not quite extinct. He says, scatter as from an unextinguished hearth, ashes and sparks, my words among mankind. Spread my thoughts among the mankind. They are still inextinguished. Be through my lips to unawaken earth the trumpet of a prophecy, O wind. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? So, in these last lines, the poet is wanting to convey the message. He requests the west wind through his words. He feels that men who are still under the bondage of established customs and traditions, they are not listening to what he wants to say. But with the help of the west wind, he is sure that they will certainly listen and free themselves from all these chains and bondages. In the last line, the poet wants to convey that if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Means when the spring comes after winter season, the nature is revived with fresh plants and flowers. It is eternal truth that in the world of nature, death is followed by rebirth, just like spring follows winter. Winter stands for hardships and spring for happiness. So he wishes to convey that if you are facing hardships today, certainly there is going to be happiness later on. The circle continues. Thank you.